Hi, children. So today we are going to be having one such topper, and she will be joining us very, very soon. Her name is Shambhavi Sinha, who scored 98.2% in her CBSE Class 10 exams. Okay, so definitely that's something to. I'm looking forward to a great extent to this particular session because. Uh, Even as a teacher, it's good to hear from children of all levels. I believe children from different parts of the country also. I think it's important to understand different perspectives, and children who have children belonging to different backgrounds also, because it gives a lot of additional perspective to, probably for me also, about how to shape my teaching, how to modify my teaching styles, also what can practically help children, and so on and on and on. Right? Yes. Hi, children. Hello to everyone who is right here. Stay with me till the end, because, as I said, this is definitely going to be very, very, very useful to all of you. Okay, so let us just wait for Shambhavi to join us. She should be here in a bit. In the meantime, you guys can also think about um, any tips and tricks that have worked for you, and a few that haven't worked for you, possibly. And you could possibly drop a comment or drop your feedback on any platform available that we have. Either you can send me an email also at ambika.gopalakrishnan@vedantu.com, or you could drop a comment or feedback anywhere else. I think it's important to get such feedback because, as I said, it's important for us teachers also, because considering when we passed out, I think that was quite a long time ago that we passed out of class 10. So certainly things have changed quite a lot. So having perspective from children who are currently in class 10 would also help to a great extent, right? Okay. All right. Let us wait for Shambhavi to come. I think Shambhavi has some minor network issues, but she will be joining very, very soon. Yeah, sure. Not a problem. We can still go about talking about what has been working for me, what has been working for you. I think you know what, on a personal note, one thing that I am looking forward to this session is that, in general, I'm a very talkative person. Okay, so people who've been part of my sessions on the Vedantu platform and on YouTube would certainly know this, because in general, I like to describe everything well in detail. Even as a child, I have been like that. So today, for a change, I'm very happy that I will be talking minimally and somebody else will be taking over. Okay, certainly it's gonna be a lot fun, and it's going to be a different experience for me also to be part of a session like that. Right, children? And yes. So, guys, I guess most of you must be in class 9 or 10 this year, most probably, right? Yes. Perhaps if you are in class 10, I'm assuming a lot of things have changed. As you know, maybe your first term exams also must have been cancelled or happening in different formats in your respective schools, because teaching is all happening online. Everything has changed. So most of my children who are in class 10 this year, they keep sending me messages and emails saying, "Ma'am, everything is so difficult without going to school. Things are getting harder and harder every day." So we are perhaps the unluckiest. Let's see. I think Shambhavi is also here. Hi, Shambhavi.
Hi, ma'am. Good
Just a
evening.
second. Just a second, Shambhavi. Oh, I think. Hello. Can you hear me well?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, okay, great. So I was just telling the children about, I was just giving a small introduction, a brief introduction about who our guest for today is. And I was also telling the children that, for a change, I'm looking forward to the session, especially because I'm generally on the talkative side, and usually in all my sessions, non-stop, I just keep chattering. Today, for a change, it would be great to have you talk a lot, and I would just be here to listen to you along with children, and to gain a lot of valuable tips that possibly you have for all the children, and maybe for teachers also, so that it'll help
everyone around, right? So first of all, Shambhavi, once again, welcome to this session and hearty congratulations on your achievement. 98.2% in CBSE Class 10 exams is definitely not a joke. I was also a CBSE student. I can imagine the kind of pressure that you would also have gone through. Obviously I passed out a very long time ago, and times have changed, and I think pressure is only building up every year. And this year especially, I think it was in between your exams that the COVID pandemic and everything came into place, and things probably got a little worse for many of you children. So anyway, we are looking forward to hearing from you on all that. To get started, we would all like to hear a little about you, like basic details about you, where you're from, which school you studied in or still study in, and what your parents do and things like that. Yeah, go on.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, I'm Shambhavi, and my family originally hails from Patna, Bihar. But I was born and brought up in Delhi until standard 9th when I moved back to Patna. So, in like 2018, I moved back here, and I'm currently studying in international school at Patna.
Okay. So, and then what do your parents do? Like your mom and dad?
My mother is a homemaker, whereas my father is a retired merchant navy captain.
Okay. So, okay. I think that brings to my mind a lot more questions also. But anyway, before we come to all that, we know, as I was telling you, the exams were all, it was a long time, especially I think this year in March, it felt like the month of March was never ending for all of us.
Yes.
And for you, especially because you children were in between your board exams, class 10 and class 12, it might have been even more stressful for you. So let's get straight to that. Yeah, exactly. And exactly, right? So results were delayed, right? It came in the month of June or July?
July.
Yeah, usually it comes in May, I guess, last week of May around. Yeah. So right now, thinking back about all that, how does it feel for you to talk about your journey, all the ups and downs that you have faced through that time?
It feels really a long time back because now continuing with grade 11, a lot of new things have emerged up. But yes, again, it was a little stressful journey, but again, it was amazing, and obviously the result was really good.
So did you also belong to those category of children who had some of your exams postponed or cancelled or anything like that? Or did you have all your exams?
One of my exams, computers, which was an additional subject, it got cancelled. But other than that, all the exams went perfectly well.
So all
In
the
fact,
main
the
exams
day
happened.
I came back after giving my social science exams. That day only the lockdown, all the other exams got cancelled. So I was really lucky that way.
Okay, yeah, that way I think some children I knew also in CBSE, especially ICSE children, were a little more unfortunate because they have a lot more papers also. Biology exams also. For me as a biology teacher, I was a little disappointed because ICSE bio exam got cancelled. Anyway, so let's now come to the your papers of the exam this year. Did you find it easy, difficult, intermediate, or what was it like?
Overall, it was of the intermediate level. Some of them were easy, especially literature. Like language paper, English was very easy, way below what I had expected and what was, what we were giving in school exams. Other than that, science, maths, and all the other subjects were intermediate. It was what we were expecting. I found SST a little tougher because, I was not very good at it also, but still, it was comparing it to all the other subjects, it was a little on the tougher side.
Okay, that actually reminded me of my class 10 also. I wasn't very good in SST either. Science and math and English were more of my strengths. So actually that took me back to those days. And now, Shambhavi, can you tell us about your strengths and weaknesses, like in terms of subjects? You were saying you were not very good at SST. Likewise, what were your strengths and what were your other weaknesses?
I found my strengths to be maths and science because I had been practicing a lot of maths and science above the level of CBSE also from foundation books and all. And whereas SST, I hated rote learning and just memorizing everything. So I worked hard for SST right from the beginning. So I concentrated more on SST right from the beginning, and English as well because I was not very good at literature. I was not very good at forming answers in the beginning. So, practicing it by writing it a lot of times. And then again, I enrolled in the Vedantu's class. So Arshpreet ma'am was very good. She cleared all my doubts on not only like in the classes, but also on phone calls, WhatsApp. So it was really helpful.
Okay, okay. Very, very nice to know that. And during exams, what was your daily routine like? During the study holidays and during your exams?
During the exams, it was obviously a very stressful routine. I used to get up early in the morning. I've always liked studying early in the morning, and then
Okay.
I didn't have a specific timetable, though I just divided my time according to various subjects, like various chapters, so that I can give preference to all of them. So, like after completing one chapter or after completing a topic, I would take a break and then revise everything again and again.
Okay.
It wasn't a very specific timetable, and then I made sure I practiced sample papers every day on a month before the exams as well. That was really helpful. I think that was the most helpful part because it gives you an idea of how the exams will exactly be.
Exactly.
The exams are very similar to the sample papers. So I guess that was my the strength that allowed me to score this well.
Okay, okay. Nice to know that. So I think you are also emphasizing on how super important sample papers are. I think in all my sessions also I keep talking about that. And even in my school days, I remember practicing that a lot. That really adds a lot of value, not just studying the concepts, right? I think that's a very good point that you mentioned. And what about your free time in general? How did you have any specific hobbies? Was there anything non-academic that you really enjoyed doing?
I have always loved sports, but as I said, I moved to Patna, so here we didn't have many sports facilities. So I
Okay.
just used to enjoy watching a lot of sports. I watched the whole Cricket World Cup, IPL, and all the sports as well, like badminton, chess, table tennis. Other than that, I also have a lot of interest in coding, like programming and robotics. So I enrolled in a lot of classes online and in my school as well. So those were my two major hobbies during the year.
Okay. So just out of curiosity, in fact, I didn't have this planned because you mentioned these many things. I'm just curious to know, was there a point where during the month of your exams, you stopped all the extracurricular activities and focused only on studies?
Only in the month of February, because see, after our schools got over and we were given the self-study period, it became even more difficult for me to study for long hours, because when you're going to school you can still have a little fun with your friends, and you can indulge in a lot of fun activities in school and as well as coaching.
Right.
But once you're completely
Yes.
upon yourself to study for the whole day, it gets really boring. That's when I indulged in a lot of activities. I learned photography also. But yes, I managed the
Wow.
time so that I don't mess my study timetable and my studies.
Okay. So what were basically like your stress busters during, was there anything specific or did you just go with the flow, anything that came up in the month of Feb and March?
I usually spend my time listening to music and watching YouTube. So YouTube was my major stress buster during the year. I watched a lot of fun videos and it was really helpful because you cannot indulge in something that's very time consuming. It's really difficult,
Exactly.
especially the day before your exams. You can't watch a movie. So you need
Exactly.
to find something which is a little bit productive and also a little bit cheering. And then I used to talk with my mother. That's it. Nothing other
Okay.
than
So
that.
talking about that, are you a single child or you have siblings also?
I'm a single child. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, because you said talk to mother, right? That's why I asked you if you have siblings. Okay. And one more thing, I think in general, people have this opinion about toppers in general, that toppers of any level, okay, that they are very boring people. They are very boring to talk to. They just don't come to any family gatherings. They are very, very inactive on social media. In general, there is a notion like that. So, what do you have to say about that? Do you
I
belong
think
to
that's a
that
myth.
category? Yeah.
No, I don't belong. I do attend the family gatherings and I also enjoyed with friends. Although, yes, there were times, especially before the exams, when I concentrated more on studies. Even in school, I stopped going to all the extracurricular activity periods and focused a little more on studying, but I used to enjoy with my friends. I went to various competitions like debate, robotics competitions. And
Okay.
apart from that, I mean, it was fun also. I mean, the part of studying was also included in that fun. With your friends, and when you have our teachers to discuss everything, it wasn't that
Hmm.
boring.
Okay. So, were you the kind of child who liked doing like combined study sessions also, or have you always preferred self-study sessions?
No, I prefer combined study sessions, even if
Okay.
it's with my friends, because it gets much easier. You make them understand things, and at the same time you're revising yourself. So it was fun as well as very good revision for me.
Okay. Okay. So you had like a regular group of friends who you used to associate with, is it, or like for study sessions?
I had a few close friends, during the school hours, or during free periods, and any other time we get, we used to sit together and discuss the doubts of previous lecture. I had a close group of friends. They were not many, but 4 or 5 of them. And even on WhatsApp, if you have any doubts, so it's much easier to contact to them at any time, and you can clear it in your own way. It's not much easier, right?
So I think one point that I can understand from what you just said is that as long as you have the right kind of group wherein your topic of discussion wouldn't deviate apart from serious
Yeah.
matter, I think that is very important, right? Because many children, they like doing combined study, but
Distracted.
there are times where they end up talking about other things, and study sessions may not end up serving its actual purpose. So I think that's a very important point that you said. Although you guys were using WhatsApp for discussions, I think you managed to maintain a balance between like using social media only as and when necessary. I think that's what I understood from what you said. Okay, great to know that. And was there any point of time during March especially, probably, where you felt a little demotivated and you needed some additional help, maybe your parents or friends or anyone else? There was a little bit of, you felt, okay, this is like getting close to impossible, or you're just feeling bored, you have reached that saturation point. Was there any point of time you felt something like that?
Yes, so I'm actually not a person who self studies a lot. So I learn
Hmm.
most of my things during the classes, and
Hmm.
when the lectures are going on, I try to grasp on most of the things. So
Ah,
after our
okay.
schools got over, during the period of December, January, February, it was really important for me to sit down for really long hours, as I said earlier. At that time, I guess engaging in online classes and revision sessions which were held by our teacher assistants and personal counselors, they were very helpful because it was teaching in a small group and you can easily converse with the teacher and you can freely ask your doubts or
Hmm.
have discussions. So
Hmm.
that helped me revise a lot.
Okay. Okay.
And after the NTSC exam, so during my NTSC exam, I didn't perform that well. So after that time, I got a little demotivated.
Hmm.
But again, my parents told me to just believe in yourself, and that well also, so I knew that it wasn't going to be that good. But still, it was a little demotivating.
Okay.
But again, with my parents supported me, to believe in your abilities first. That's how I just.
No problem. So let's continue. I think what you just said last throws a lot of light on the myth that uh, there are a lot of children who think toppers never face any issues, any ups and downs. It's always ups, and it's a very, very smooth graph that goes on. So nice that you. I mean, very nice of you to have shared your experience of whatever you went through. So now, Shambhavi, I've heard that you have a keen interest in science, and you also said that science and math were pretty much your strengths. So, is there any specific memory that you would like to recall from any science Olympiad or science competition that you have participated in? I think you mentioned some robotics competition
Yeah.
also. Yeah, is there anything specific you want to share?
So in ninth standard, I went for a robotics competition. So we had prepared a robot using microcontrollers, and I was selected for the National Children's Science Conference, which was held
Oh,
in Bhubaneswar. So
very
it
nice.
was a very big moment for me.
Hmm.
I went there with my teammate, and it was the most enjoyable time. I learned a lot of things from there. So I would really like to encourage everybody to participate in such things because it's not only learning to perform like activities and projects, but when you meet other competitors there and other people who have created something which is even better than yours and which is really fabulous, you get to learn a lot from them.
Hmm. So nice, very nice. Actually, Really nice to hear about your experience on the robotics competition. Children, I think whoever else is watching this and has listened to what Shambhavi said, please do make a note of this. I understand all of you have mostly online classes these days, but still do not leave any opportunity related to this, is what Shambhavi is trying to tell you. Okay, and now Shambhavi, coming to another thing. We have heard from multiple children that they have found certain very hard concepts, certain concepts in their academics, in their core subjects, very hard to understand, despite having heard it from multiple teachers in school or their private tutors or whoever. But then their coaching from Vedantu has helped simplify it a lot. So what is your opinion on this? Do you actually believe online coaching might really be of help to those children who cannot afford very expensive private tuitions? What is your opinion on this, online coaching in general from Vedantu and in general?
Yes, I totally agree, because when I came to Patna, it was really difficult for me to find any coaching or any tuition nearby my house, because I was very new here. And at that time, even though I met a few teachers, I wasn't able to grasp everything from them, because they have the specific pattern of teaching. But in online classes, what I found the best part was that it was very consistent. So every time, every teacher has the same mechanism to teach, so it's much easier for us to understand once you get settled to it. And the concept were made very much clear by the graphics and everything, so it was much easier for us to comprehend rather than imagining everything in my own head. That was, I guess, an advantage in online classes.
Okay. So that is what. So basically, you did not have any other private tutors. Is that what you're saying?
No.
For you, it's support from here and from your school, that like combined support from both that helped, right? Okay, very nice to know that. And now another thing is there any like one or two top tips that you would like to give students appearing for any examination, be it 10th, 12th, or I think older children also might enjoy watching this, hearing success stories of toppers. So is there any one or two top tips that you would like to share with children appearing for any examination?
Yes, I believe the most important part is to plan your studies and organize it in a way that it's very easy for you to understand it during the end, when you have to recollect everything in a very short time. So even at the time you're starting, make sure you have assigned, like you have kept different notebooks for every subject, because otherwise it gets really confusing. Right. And keep your notes at one particular place. Make short notes. So I used to make notes for one subject, and then I used to write it again and again as micro notes. And then during revision also, a day before the exam, I practiced everything by writing. I never tried to learn everything by speaking or by memorizing it. And again, another tip I would like to give is that you keep maintaining your record. Like, don't make backlogs. Backlogs, as they get really stressful in the end.
Don't procrastinate is what you're saying. Yeah, have a proper plan and stick to it.
Rather than procrastinating, just plan and stick to it and follow the routine.
Yeah. So coming to that, I think you already spoke about what the months of Feb and March to you were like. Did you have a proper plan and proper daily routine right from the start of grade 10?
I did start, but I was not able to follow it at all. So I changed it multiple times, but still, I just decided by the end that I'll just go with the flow. So I got up in the morning and decided what all I have to study in that day, and just tried to finish it by the end of the day. I never had specific time slots for subjects.
Okay.
And again, I also had to keep in mind that I give preference to every subject. So I used to divide days for that. Like on one day, I'll give more preference to chemistry or any other subject.
I think I argue that especially because most children who send me emails and messages, one question that they have in mind is, one concern that they always express is, "Ma'am, I have made a timetable, but I'm not able to stick to it." So I think your experience actually is very soothing to hear to all of those children who feel demotivated by the fact that they are unable to follow the timetable. So you're saying despite that, eventually you picked up, right? Eventually initially you went with the flow, eventually you picked up, and finally it came to a point where you had some kind of schedule and some kind of routine in place, right?
It was not very specific, a very rough idea of when I'm going to study, but still, because during the end of the year, you're so stressed and you're so
Right.
pressurized to study that you always feel like studying. It's not that you feel like enjoying. There's so
Exactly.
much of there's so much of fear and anxiety that I have to perform well, that
Yeah.
you think studying is a better option than thinking about your fears again and again.
Okay. Yeah. That is I think that's a very useful thing that you just shared. It will help everyone who's watching this. Now, let me ask you, now, because you were saying about all this fear and things like that, how did you handle your parents' expectations, or expectations from teachers in general, expectations from society and everyone and anything around you?
So I was very lucky. My parents never pressurized me because they knew that if they would pressurize me, I would get really stressed and just will stop studying for the exams.
I think that's a
So
good tip.
when
I'm
my
sorry to
parents
interrupt, but that's a good tip to the parents watching this also. Do not pressurize your children. Yes, go on, Shambhavi. Yes.
and as far as boards are concerned, they are always considered to be about family's honor. But in my case, my family never said that they had a lot of expectations. Although I knew that they had a lot of faith in me,
Hmm.
and they were sure that even if I don't perform, I don't be the best, but I was going to be good.
Okay. Great.
They were expecting a good result.
Hmm.
And apart from that, I guess peer pressure or peer competition was beneficial for me, because
Hmm. Hmm.
until and unless I had some competition, because there were students in my class, and in fact there's every school who answer very promptly and who are very quick to answer things.
Hmm.
So you sitting on your seats, you feel really disheartened that why am I not able to answer this, or why am I not able to grasp it that quick. But if you have confidence in yourself and that you will be able to do it or catch up, then it will be okay.
Great to hear from you on that. I think we have just one last question before you go on to a fun rapid fire round. I think what I wanted to ask you is something just that might be of use to other children out here. Is there any specific program by Vedantu that was most useful for you?
I guess all the live classes were very useful for me, because I never missed a single class. I attended all of them, and even if I missed it, I watched all the recordings. Even
Hmm.
after watching the recording, it's very beneficial because you can get the notes. So
Yes.
I used to make all my notes referring to those
Hmm.
rather than any book, because book have very vast theory and it's difficult for you to understand which things are important and which are
Right.
not.
Very true.
So referring to notes, it was much easier for me.
Hmm.
Apart from that, our teacher assistants were very helpful. So even if I had any doubt, any time of the day, they would pick up my calls. Even they used to even explain me things on video calls using whiteboards and all. That was very helpful, because in what happens in offline classes, that you can't ask your doubts at any time. You need to wait till the time
Right.
teacher asks you, or
Yeah, that's
even
right.
if you have WhatsApp as a medium, it's not very active and it's not very beneficial for you. But
Hmm.
here at Vedantu, it was very easy for us to articulate our doubts and ask them to our teachers or to our TAs.
Okay. Basically, I think what you're saying is the channel of communication between you and the teachers
It
was
was much
open
easier.
all the time. Yeah, which helped you
Yeah.
most. Okay, very nice to know that. And now let's go on to a very quick rapid fire round. Okay, so I will be expecting instant answers from you. So let's get started. Okay, who scolds you the most, dad or mom?
Mom.
Mom, is it okay? I think most children are saying this.
Actually,
Even my
my
daughter
dad
would say
lives
this
in
about me.
Delhi,
Yeah.
so he doesn't scold me much on the phone. I mean, he can't scold me much on his phone.
He
So my
doesn't get
mom
as
scolds
much
me.
of an opportunity, is it?
Yeah.
That's the reason, is what you're saying. Okay. One friend who has always had your back.
All my school friends, yes, Zarka and Muskan, they were few of my very close friends, and they always had my back. So sometimes they used to get very irritated if I'm studying and not playing with them or not enjoying with them. But
Okay.
then, after some time, they used to understand that, so it's what I want to do right now.
Okay. Yeah. Now, yes. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I'm an early bird. I cannot study at night. At
So
night,
what
I
is the
get really
latest time in the night?
distracted.
What is the latest time? What is the latest point of time in the nights that you have studied?
On a regular basis, at most 12, not
Okay.
later than that.
Okay. All right. So you're saying you were more of an early bird. Fine.
Yeah,
And if I gave you an option between science and English, which one would you opt for and why?
science.
Science, okay. And
I
because?
find it more interesting because, in English, you're just reading about somebody else's experience, whereas in science, you can have your own experiences, thinking about things, imagining it in your own way. I
Right.
guess it opens up more opportunities.
Okay, okay, nice. So, talking about opportunities, that brings me to the next question. What is your dream job and why?
I want to become a software engineer. I've always been interested in computers and technology.
Okay,
So, software engineer, that's
okay. Is there any software engineer role model that you have in mind?
Mark Zuckerberg. Because
Nice.
at the age he started, he was very young, and the way he evolved everything about the internet, it's very inspiring.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, if you get 1 crore rupees in your bank account tomorrow, like if 1 crore is credited in your bank account tomorrow at a time, what would you do with it?
1 crore.
Yes.
Uh, um,
So much
I
of
don't know.
thinking.
Maybe I would keep some for my future, but the rest, I guess, I don't know.
Okay, not a problem. Maybe you might get an answer when you think about it tonight or tomorrow. Not a problem. In
Yeah.
case you want to tell me about it, please do remember to send me an email. I would love to hear what
Okay.
you have in mind. Okay. Now, if you have an option of traveling across the entire world and one person can accompany you, who would that one person be?
I would like to go to Greece with my father
Hmm.
because he's very interested about all the historic things, and he keeps telling me
Oh.
about what happened in the past and what's coming up about the current affairs and everything. So I would like to go to Greece once for sure.
Okay, nice, interesting. Now, what is your favorite food item?
I'm a non-vegetarian, so butter chicken.
Okay, butter chicken. Yeah, I think favorite for most non-vegetarians.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite teacher at Vedantu? I think teachers who taught you would
Uh,
certainly love to know.
it would be a tie between Arshpreet ma'am and Abhishek sir.
Okay, a tie between. If in case you had to choose between the two of them, who would you choose?
Oh,
No hard feelings.
Arshpreet
I'm sure
ma'am.
both of them wouldn't mind. Yeah.
Arshpreet ma'am.
Ashpreet ma'am. Okay, nice. I think, ma'am, I hope ma'am will be watching this and hearing this about what she will definitely be very proud and happy to hear this from you. Okay, now coming to the last question. If there was one thing that you could change about the education system, especially in India, what would that be?
Hmm. I believe there is a huge gap in what we learn now and what we have to do in the future, like what we have to do as jobs.
Hmm.
So it would be better if it could be more of a vocational learning. You're learning about the things which you require, like finances or social skills, apart from what we do right now. And also
Right.
that today's system is based a lot on rote learning. So even if you memorize everything a day before exams, you will be able to score good. But that
True.
is not a measure of somebody's abilities.
Hmm. Hmm.
I guess that has to
Absolutely.
change in
I
the
think
future.
the last points that you just said is actually opening up a lot of other things. I think everyone
Hmm.
should make a note of the points that Shambhavi said. And I'm so happy that an academic topper like you has said this, Shambhavi, because I have also had a lot of friends from school who were constantly toppers. But most of them ended up believing, probably now they have changed because they would be in their 20s and 30s. So with experience, people would have changed. But so nice that at such a young age, you have this mentality that despite being an academic topper, you're saying that's still not the end of the world. In case somebody
Yeah.
does fail in studies, that's not the end of the world. There is a lot more to
Hmm.
do, right? Life skills is what you're saying matter a lot
Yeah.
more than this. So nice to hear this from you, Shambhavi. Probably I would have loved to carry on this session for even longer, but unfortunately we do have time constraints. But thank you so much, Shambhavi, for having joined us today and having
Thank you,
spoken
ma'am. It
to
was great talking to you.
yeah, thank you so much and take care. All the best for your future and your exams in future. May you reach great heights and achieve all your dreams. Always, we are here to support you. So go ahead and God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shambhavi. Bye bye.
Bye, ma'am.